Well, as many of you know, Sony has just recently allowed us to finally, at long last, change our PSN user ID names for our accounts. But what happens if you do so and you're a PlayStation Vita user? Let's get to it. Greetings fellow Vita fans, this is James with PS Vita at 2 AM, and once again I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Me, like most users out there, have been highly anticipating this feature from Sony, that we're at long last allowed to change our PlayStation Network IDs. However, there is a few caveats. As probably many of you have already heard, this normally and ideally only works with the PlayStation 4. While the PS3 and PS Vita are not supported, that comes from the mouth of Sony themselves. So can we assume then that the online ID change affects nothing regarding our PlayStation Vita's point of view? Not necessarily. For a while now, I've been wanting to see what happens when you change your user ID. However, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find many PlayStation Vita users who did it. Thus, I figured, alright, I'll be the guinea pig, especially since Sony does allow you to revert back to your old name should you run into any problems. So I'm throwing myself under the bus here. Wouldn't be the first time. Let's see what happens. Before I begin, however, I do have to mention one thing. This wasn't a video I initially planned to make in the first place, but a few interesting things did happen to me on my, adventure that I decided, what the heck. However, that being said, because I wasn't originally planning to make a video on it, I don't have any footage captured from the way my PlayStation account looked before the name change. So I'm just going to have to put it up on here right now. As you can see, my original PlayStation Network ID was Retro 8-bit, or Retro/8/bit, however you want to say it, and my total trophy count was 4121. Now keep that in mind because that will come into play as the video progresses. So my new name, as probably most of you have guessed already, is going to be PlayStation Vita at 2 AM, and I apologize in advance for butchering that pronunciation. And now that I have my network ID changed, I want to go around to various games just to see what has changed and what has stayed the same. First up, I tried Excel World vs Sword Art Online. I hopped online, and as you can see from the footage here, yep, my name change has in fact taken place. Sadly, I wasn't able to find anybody online to play with, but the servers are still up for those of you who are interested. Want to play with me? Then I tried the PlayStation Vita game Drive Girls. This also has online play, which I guess is kind of obvious at this point. And as you can see here, my name has in fact changed. Once again though, I wasn't able to find anyone online to play with, but as you can see, it has been taken into effect. We're 2 for 2, methinks. Then I started thinking to myself, maybe I should try something a bit more old school, since these are a bit on the newer side. And when I say newer, I mean like, a couple of years old or so. As in not old. So I decided to go back to the basics and get reacquainted on some Call of Duty. This one I wanted to capture exactly from my PlayStation Vita itself, and not my PlayStation TV, which is a majority of what you've been seeing footage from. And as you can see, as blurry as it is, yep, my PlayStation ID has in fact changed on this. And considering how old this title is, I was kinda shocked at that. I thought it was gonna have my old username still, but nope, everything seems a go on this title. Then I thought to myself, okay, let me try one more older game. Something that I have an old save file on that I haven't used in quite a while. And I decided that Ultimate Tetris would be my guinea pig. How's that for poetic justice? A guinea pig of a guinea pig. And what happened next? It's about what you would have expected. Lo and behold, my PlayStation ID network change has in fact taken place even with this title. Unfortunately, my online leaderboard rank was gone. I guess we're at what now? 1 for 4? Now at this point I thought to myself, okay, what else could I test? What else could I test? I tested a decent amount of online games out there. Can't test them all obviously, but I went to the basics. Then I thought to myself, DLC. Is it possible that I might have lost all of my DLC? Granted, I'm not very big on DLC, but I did have a decent amount of content on there. Well, alright, an okay amount, I guess. So I hopped over real quick to the PlayStation Store, and yep, all my DLC is 100% there and safe. There safely. Safely there. Whatever. Alright, everything seems pretty hunky-dory. I don't see any issues with this at all. What's Sony talking about that it doesn't support the PlayStation Vita? Aside from the leaderboard incident, everything seems to be fine. Well, there was a little bit of an issue that I had, and that is regarding trophies. Now, much like with DLC, I'm not a huge trophy guy, so please don't laugh at me at the fact that a lot of my trophy percentages is pretty low. Actually, it's okay. Go ahead and feel free to laugh. And I had 4,121. Yep, there's that 4121 I told you about. By sheer coincidence, it was around this time that I had received Bloodstain from Limited Run Games in the mail, and thought, what better game to try it out on? Let's see if new and old games will sync up with my account. I played the game, earned around 8 trophies on it, while also testing some older titles that I was playing during this time as well, that being Rabby Ribby and Danganronpa 3, making for a grand total of 18 trophies I had achieved in that time period. I synced them, went to go look at my trophies, and it was still at 4121. It was around this time that I kind of started to panic a little. Does this mean I'm never ever going to be able to acquire trophies for my account again? Granted, like I said, I'm not big on them, but still, they were nice to have at least. It was around at this point I started thinking to myself that maybe it would be best for me to contact Sony and have my name changed back to its original, which they will do for free. I started contemplating things for about a day or two when it hit me. One thing I hadn't tried. This was my last desperate measure to attempt, and that is simplicity itself. Log out, then back into my account. I did that, and as you can see from my trophy listings now, they are syncing once again. Well, the newer ones after I had logged back in and out of my account. I also noticed that my activity log seemed to be back too. However, when I went to go and actually check it, I noticed that all of my previously acquired trophies listed on here with my old online ID was gone, and only showing my newer ones since the name change, which, yeah, okay, I guess that's fair enough. Sadly, it looks like Bloodstain, as you can see from this PlayStation 4 screenshot, is still not showing up on my list. I came to the conclusion at that point that the PlayStation Network servers didn't know what to do with my account at that point. I had changed it, yet I had still my old name in their eyes because I never logged out of my account. At least that's what I'm assuming. I even tried going to my backup PlayStation Vita TV and reacquire some of the trophies that I had missed from those 3 games, but sadly, nah, they're still not syncing or showing up. So my assumption is those 18 plus trophies are officially gone. But I can at least take solace in the fact that any new trophies or games that I add to my account will in fact be synced up. I also forgot to mention that I tested them with older games as well, and yeah, they seem to work okay too. And yeah, there you have it guys. All things considered, it wasn't actually that bad. Everything pretty much seems to work on the PlayStation Vita despite what Sony said, aside from the whole trophy glitch thing that I ran into, and the leaderboard thing. So a word of warning to you all, if you decide to change your PlayStation Network ID, make sure that you log out then back into your account if you want to save any of your future trophies. Other than that though, I was actually pretty impressed. A lot of stuff still seemed to work. I didn't even think my online ID change was going to show up on the Vita, but it did. Especially since this is the Vita of all things, and we fans are usually always neglected when it comes to this corner of the platform, but no, seems like Sony actually did a pretty decent job fixing us up. Now, is it perfect by any means? No, it's definitely not without its flaws. Now, it could be that I was just going in with very low expectations from the beginning, but it would seem to be fairly stable. And remember, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're not satisfied with the name change, Sony will revert your name back to its original for free one time, so keep that in mind. Alright, now we've come to the point of the video where I need your input, everyone. Has anybody out there who's a big PlayStation Vita user tried to change their username? Have you run into any issues, or has everything been fine? Let us hear your feedback down in the comment section, because I have heard Sony say that your mileage may vary, meaning that what happened to me might not necessarily happen to you. Could be better, could be worse. So let's all help each other out down in the comments below. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. The following video has been brought to you in part by all of these wonderfully generous people over at Patreon, including PhantomXRS, Saul Ramirez, Kyle Brooks, JR, E-Rock, Pierce Sterner, Adam Thury, Skull Shertugal TCG, Joshua Williams, Jared Haddo, Kevin Enright, Heston Joseph, and Aaron Swanson. I have a number of exclusive perks available for backers, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, check the links down in the description below. And hopefully I won't have any more issues with my PlayStation Network ID account. Rest in peace, my 18+ trophies. You shall be missed.